Yes, good morning everyone. 5th February 2022, the Hindu newspaper. Let's discuss some important articles. Okay, so first page largely political news are there. So we will not discuss these articles. Directly come to the page number 6, editorial page. Okay, on page number 5, today PM is visiting Telangana. He will unveil the statue of equality there. And yes, tomorrow there will be news about it, and again we will cover this, okay, about Ramanujacharya and Statue of Equality once the Prime Minister unveils the statue. Okay, on page number 6, two important articles. One, interrogating the false merit reservation binary. Now, recently we discussed Supreme Court ruling about all India quota in medical seats. If you remember this, right, so there the Supreme Court had given some observations, important observations on this debate of merit versus reservation. Also some observations related to how the arguments talks about the efficiency in the administration is being affected because of reservation and all these things. Okay, so again the article discusses the outcome of that ruling, especially in relevance to social justice. Now GS2 paper, social justice, polity is important part. We know that affirmative actions like reservation is important aspect of social justice, ensuring equality under article 14, 15, 16. ये सारी चीज़ें हमें पता है, right? So from that aspect we are going to again revise that. On left hand side bottom, sex and violence. So the context of this article is related to marital rape issue. At present it is being discussed, debated in the country. Also the Delhi High Court is listening to some of the petitions and is seeking the government reply, and now recently the government has also replied, given its stance, and it is seeking more time so as to have more and more stakeholder consultation on this issue. Okay, so again we will discuss that from society, GS1, GS2 paper social justice part, GS4 paper ethics part. What are the ethical issues or aspects related to marital rape? There can be question like this, and also essay topic. Also those who are having sociology optional subject, surely there will be question in optional subject also. Okay. Yes, in ED lectures, I guess this topic has been also covered in detail, right? Yes, on page number 8, Rajya Sabha debates use of private bills to amend preamble to the constitution. Okay, so yes, this is fine, but we should know the basics about this. What is public member bill or public bill and private bill or private members bill? Okay, so clarity of knowledge is very much required here about the constitutional amendment bills. Okay, what are the requirements for introduction of this bill, and along with that how it is passed on the floor of parliament. Okay, so yes, along with difference between the public bill and private members bill. So basics of polity will again cover here for prelims examination. Again the other news are political news. Okay. Yes, on page number 10 you can see bottom side, villagers resist sanctuary tag for langur habitat. So they are talking about golden habitat on page number 10. Okay, so golden langur, it is endemic to Assam. It is only found in India and Bhutan. Also the the IUCN status as endangered schedule 1 species. ये सारी चीजें हमें पता होनी चाहिए, right? This is important from prelims examination environment section.
So it will jump by with the tile support, langur.
Yes, it is very hesitant to come on the ground. Rather it is moving from tree to tree only, and that's why dense canopy of the forest is very much required. The fragmentation of their habitat is leading to their deaths. Okay, and also the electrical lines. We will see the threats to this also, the species, endangered species, and it is very important, one of the most threatened primates of the world, we can say. Yes. So again, already UPSC asked in prelims examination question about golden langurs. Okay. So there can be repetition of the question from different aspects. On 11 number article, you can see China Pakistan Inc. new CPEC agreement. It is being called as CPEC 2 or second phase, phase 2 of China Pakistan Economic Corridor. Now the CPEC is part of, we can say, BRI, Belt and Road Initiative of China. Okay, so this CPEC passes through, we can say that India claimed territory of Jammu and Kashmir, right? So Gilgit Baltistan region, from that region this CPEC passes. Okay, so we should be aware that phase 2 agreement is passed. That means more and more projects will be implemented under this CPEC. Okay. Fine. So today text and context page is not there. Now we will discuss these articles in detail one by one. Yes. Yes, the sex and violence. This particular article on page number 6, editorial page, is having the context of issue of marital rape that is being debated, discussed throughout the country. Also, Delhi High Court is listening to the petitions about this related issue, and it is also, the petitions are also seeking criminalization of marital rape. Okay, so recently government informed Delhi High Court earlier this week that it was having a relook at its position spelled out over 5 years ago. Now what government stand was given in 2017, it clearly said that, or opposed the removal of this statutory exception in section 375 of IPC for rape committed by a man on his wife if she is not below 18 years of age. Now you should be knowing this provision. When the question is asked, you should mention this section 375, the statutory exception given under this particular section, which exclude the issue of, or we can say, case of marital rape here. Okay, and the government had the earlier stand that it opposed the removal of such exception. And why government had rejected this? Basically, it said that it cannot be applied to the Indian context due to various factors like level of education and illiteracy, poverty, myriad of social customs and values, religious beliefs, mindset of the society to treat marriage as a sacrament. Simply, we should understand that the core argument here is given is that the institution of marriage, okay, the core argument is said that the institution of marriage may be threatened because of such, if suppose, let's say, the removal of statutory exception is there. The second argument is given that it may be misused. It may be misused also. Okay, and we should also know that the third aspect is related to, we can say, Indian customs and traditions, societal values, social norms, we can say. What are these? Patriarchal. And basically by removing this means we are challenging this.
So present present exemption is there now. So there is no any case after 18 years women have faced this problem.
No, at present there is this statutory exemption. Okay, statutory exemption means simply when there is a husband and wife relation and female is more than 18 years of age, she cannot file this case of rape by the husband.
Present.
Yes, at present. Okay, it is not amended yet. There is no change. Now the government is saying that we will look into it. Okay, at present this is the stand. We are understanding the issues related to this. Okay, the argument against removal of this exception are these.
These Indian customs and traditions will come to oppose of this.
Yes, removal of this exception. They want to maintain the status quo.
Because of that, if you remove that culture will goes to Western countries.
Yes, yes. So Western countries, the liberal culture is there, right? Western philosophy focuses on equality, right? Liberal values and equality. Now that is threatened, and Indian values, patriarchal is there, religious aspect is involved, pati dev जैसे बोला जाता है, right? So of course whatever the husband is there, so he is like Bhagwan or he is like God to wife, ऐसे चीज़ें जो है हमारे social norms, so they are threatened. So that's why we will say that those members of society, they oppose such kind of change here. And largely government up till now, we can say, was also having this view or supporting this view. But now the government has or informed Delhi High Court that it may have a relook at its earlier position. Let's again analyze against, or let's say the arguments we can say against or in favor of removing this statutory exception. Okay, so what are these arguments? First thing we should understand that the most important, women dignity and respect. This is human value, or we will say human rights. Second, the bodily integrity. And the concept of consent. It is very important. It affects the bodily integrity of the person. Okay, so without consent, when the other person is forced upon, of course it impinge on this bodily integrity of that person. It affects the dignity of that person. Okay, and when the dignity is lost, everything is lost. The person loses hope to live itself. Okay, the kind of mental trauma the women face because of this is beyond our understanding simply. That's why we should understand the concerns involved here. So these ethical issues are there. These are the ethical aspect. Now we should also understand the social aspect. What are the social aspect? We can say that at present the social norm considers that women as property of men indirectly. Indirectly, the present social norms, they consider women as property of men, right? This was the observation made by the Verma committee, JS Verma committee, 2013, after Nirbhaya incident. So it has comprehensively given the recommendation, and it recommended removal of this exception. There itself, 10 years ago almost, they had the committee had recommended removal of this. Okay, so the observation was made that women are considered as property of men indirectly. Okay, so when the woman is not having this provision of calling the forceful rape by the husband as the criminal act, the act of violence, then we will say that the woman is as the property of men, is in the marriage institution. Okay, so we should understand all these issues involved here, and then we will understand कि ये कितना problematic है statutory exception. Also there are some legal issues involved. Okay, so legal issues like, for example, now it is saying that below 18 years of age, and the government itself is trying to now increase the age of marriage. It is making 21. So that means we have to increase that up to 21. Okay, and so many, let's say already the child marriage, around 20 to 25% are child marriage. So how to deal with that situation, child marriage situation? तो वहां पे इसका मतलब ये है क्या कि जो 18 years के नीचे है बट दे आर मैरिड, सो व्हाट अबाउट देयर सिचुएशन? ओके, सो ऑल दिस रिक्वायर्स सम क्लैरिटी in the laws, provisions of IPCs. Okay, so these are the arguments in favor of removing this statutory exception, and the ethical aspects you should be knowing about this. Okay, so you can add here one more aspect of respect and equality.
So this Verma committee has been supported to put the case or rejected to put the case?
It supported the women's right. Okay.
They are going to be giving the empowering of women by
Yes.
giving of this section.
Yes. No, by removing this statutory exception.
They are not accepted in this committee.
Yes. Basically, this is a derogatory provision for women.
This type of cases maybe will come 0.001% only, sir. But by making of this law, the remaining women also may psychologically they will get some confident, but due to in society every woman will go to file a case on that her husband, it may lead to so many violence in society.
See, we were also considering same with domestic violence law, 2005. Okay, the argument given at that time also, it will be misused. If you remember, so that time also the argument was given that it will be misused, and there were some cases of misuse. उस पे तो एक मूवी भी बना था, there was one movie. Okay, so वहाँ पे परिणीति चोपड़ा का एक बहुत अच्छा मूवी था, ये मिसयूज वाला केस उसमें उन्होंने काफी अच्छे से नैरेट किया था, right? So basically this domestic violence law was also being argued that it will be misused, but rather it has largely come to help the women and protect them. Okay, so that's why this provision will also help women. ठीक है, once you empower women, make them educated, so they will use this right in the right manner. Of course, this is not the argument to give, okay, it will be misused. This is not the argument to keep them at the mercy of men. We should understand this. Okay, so there may be cases of misuse. So that's why we said argument against also.
I seen three cases. The male person can't able to escape. The women has been misused, especially in IT sectors, software. Due to their psychological problem, they put violence of case. Even they are not able to move from hometown and away abroad. Also, they are cancelled their office work due to that violence of case. Their entire life has been collapsed due to that case.
Yes, that's why. So yes, of course that is not the problem, but of course if the law is made in that manner, so there will be case, of course, that the women may have to prove some, let's say, give some proof for that purpose also. Also we should understand that there is civil law, no? And civil law suggests that if you want divorce, if you want separation, so there is easy way out from the marriage institution also. But that does not mean that women needs to continuously have subjugation. ठीक है, so इसलिए है ये. Fine. Already this domestic violence is there. So sexual violence is also part of domestic violence. Okay, so we should understand that now these arguments, the earlier arguments do not stand here. Okay, the next, interrogating the false merit reservation binary. Yes, we are talking about recent Supreme Court judgment on all India quota in medical seats. Okay, and that judgment extensively dealt upon this merit versus reservation debate. Okay, and that gave 4 important observations. Okay, first observation, it reaffirmed the principle of substantive equality rather than formal equality. Okay, so what is this equality that Supreme Court has talked about? Simply the kind of reservation or the affirmative actions for bringing equality in the society. These actions are not exception to the equality, rather they are part of equality. Like for example, it called the provision of reservation in Article 16(4) in the public employment, okay, of the Constitution is not an exception but an extension of the principle of equality enunciated in Article 16(1). Okay, so it is substantive equality and not the formal equality it is being emphasized here. The second important observation is related to cultural capital. What Supreme Court here is saying that the kind of existing inequality in our society, this shows that some of the people are having the cultural capital in terms of their parents, grandparents who are educated, who are in the powerful positions, or we can say that in advanced, they are part of advanced society, advanced class we can say, and they are continuously providing guidance to their children, their wards, and this acts as an important input for them to succeed in their life. This is the cultural capital they are having. In addition to the other avenues they provide, like good sources of education, right, good facilities, everything is provided to them. So again we will say that though that person may have the intellect, the child may have intellect, and the other child from the backward community may also have similar kind of intellect, still this child is having the more advantage. Why? Because of this cultural capital.
Because of past 2 to 3 generation, their parents and everyone,
Yes.
everybody will support him to buy
Yes.
and resources as well as the health also they need to support us.
Yes, health is there, everything from childhood itself, the child is trained unconsciously, see, by the familial environment to take up higher education, high post commensurate with the family standing. This is very important. You can see that in your civil services examination competition also.
Without backup of family,
Yes.
we can't able to come here also.
Of course, आप टॉप 100 का जो आते हैं लिस्ट में, आप उनका बैकग्राउंड चेक करिए, आपको समझ जाएगा. मैक्सिमम जो होते हैं, either their parents are in government service, grandparents are in government service, or they are having some kind of support. उनके बड़े भाई बड़े बहन जो है IAS IPS, they are serving, they are providing everything as guidance, right kind of guidance to them. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
the substantive equality and formal equality difference.
Yes. Substantive equality is focused on providing equality of opportunities and status. For reducing inequality in the society. Substantive equality. While formal equality is providing as an exception. Providing as an exception.
Nothing but reservations.
Yes. Okay. So, we will not say reservation, rather simply we will say that formal equality is related to, simply we can say that not considering the background. Okay, not considering the background. Okay, so that will be called as formal equality.
Without any, only merit cases they will.
Only considering objective criteria, merit criteria, not the social aspect, or we can say physical, mental aspects. When we say substantive equality, it is the kind of comprehensive background of the persons are considered. Like if you are talking about, let's say, those coming from the backward communities. So up till now what we focused is only, let's say, their community or caste certificate and that, all that. Okay, so we were considering of having the formal equality. Formal equality will say that everyone is on the equal line. Okay, but substantive equality also considers the background, and it also talks about considering, or when the decisions are taken by the policy makers, जैसे जॉन रॉल्स कहते हैं, right, veil of ignorance in theory of justice. So that is a substantive equality, which also considers two principles, equality and differential principle. He has given two principles, equality and differential principles. together it will be called as equality. Together it will be called as equality, and that is called as substantive equality. When we say formal equality, only equality principle applies there. Okay?
Can we take as a substantive
Okay.
equality reservations, sir?
Sorry?
In substantive equality, we need to take as a reservations, na, sir?
No, all types of affirmative actions, including reservation.
Reservations.
है ना, जैसे scholarships are given, some economic concessions are given. So all types of affirmative actions. Yes, now you have understood the cultural capital also. Other two important arguments when we talk about reservation versus merit debate is efficiency in the administration. Many times it is argued, right? So efficiency in the administration will be affected. Now again the Supreme Court has made a very important observation. It has said that the efficiency should not be seen only coming from the merit. Okay, it should not be considered as a narrow criteria. See what Supreme Court has said. Efficiency of the administration in the affairs of union and state must be defined in an inclusive sense, where diverse segments of society find representation as a true aspiration of governance by and for the people. Right? So when we say democratic institutions and all these things, so by and for the people. Now you can understand, if we are talking about, let's say, representation of people, that should be inclusive, right? So government institutions should be having the representation from all sections of society, and then only we can say that it is working for all sections of society. ठीक है? So this is very important aspect, and again it is highlighted here. So a narrow concept of efficiency should not be considered. The benchmark for efficiency in the administration is not some disembodied abstract ideal measured by performance of the qualified open category candidate. Generally we considered as merit, aptitude as a criteria for having the efficiency. ठीक है? So it is very abstract, narrow concept. We should consider it in inclusive sense. Okay? And then lastly, relevance of examination. Now this is new aspect dealt by the Supreme Court. It is clearly saying that most of the times the exams which are held for this, or we can say the competitive exams for particular educational seats, admissions, or the government jobs, so these exams are having very less relevance to the aptitude that is required for that particular job. They are saying that exam में कुछ और ही पूछते हैं और उनको काम कुछ और ही करना है.
So exam syllabus and working of nature is a
Yes,
entirely different.
and that's why they are not the criteria to check the merit of the person, or only criteria they are saying. Okay, so or only method to check the we can say merit of the person. Yes, so exams can only reflect the current competence of the individual, but not the gamut of their potential, future potential, the capabilities or excellence. So in future that particular candidate may excel. He may be having or she may be having the huge future potential, but the present level of competence, the kind of skills that person may have, maybe we can say lower.
So can we take as an example, sir? The private people, any manager, sir, in any big company, they will not able to qualify any exam, sir. But he can able to control the more than 2 to 3 lakhs people with the highly efficiency.
Yes, that is we can say the different skill set that managers requires here. Let me complete this. Okay, so this statement, the argument it is saying that foregrounding the importance of individual character, lived experiences and subsequent training, the judgment emphasizes that examinations are exclusionary, though convenient methods of resource allocation. Although they are exclusionary, but they are convenient methods of resource allocation, and that our constitutional ideals should inform our cautious appreciations of these processes. Okay, so we need to understand, that's why UPSC examination, okay, why they have added the ethics paper in your examination. Why they have made changes in prelims to so as to include the CSAT paper? Why they have we can say this essay paper for mains examination or interview, the more weightage, the highest weightage given by any competitive exam for interview in terms of marks. Okay, so this is why, because diverse aspect of the personality are evaluated there. Okay, not on the narrow basis only on MCQs or only on written aspect, something like that.
They are giving the chance to in different ways also.
Yes, so the different aspects of merit are considered there. Now, simple question can be asked, you should understand, we are expecting such kind of questions. Even if it is not direct, indirect question can be there. Critically analyze the issue of merit versus reservation in the light of recent Supreme Court judgment related to All India quota in medical seats. 4 such observations you should directly write in your answer. Okay? Yes. Now, villagers resist sanctuary tag for langur habitat. We are talking here in Bongaigaon's district of Assam, in one of the village of Bongaigaon district. There is state government has proposed the wildlife sanctuary for the habitat of golden langur, but the villagers are opposing. The name of the reserve, okay, so Kakoi Jana Reserve Forest, the region is there, one of the better known homes for golden langurs. Now, why they are opposing this? They are saying that they are traditionally conserving and protecting these species. Rather, they are working in a joint forest management committees. Okay, and basically they are arguing, instead of declaring it as a wildlife sanctuary, you declare it as a community reserve. Okay, and then these communities will have some kind of, they are having some kind of dependence on the forest for the livelihood purpose, and also some of them are sacred groves located there. So what they are saying, that we will help in conservation instead of asking us to leave that and protecting that region. When it is declared wildlife sanctuary, there will be no restriction on economic activities, no?
People will not go to inside of the villages, and they will not able to take care of any work on that area. So they will be sent to away from that.
Yes, so the stricter provisions will be there when the wildlife sanctuary national park is declared. Now, yes, that is fine, that is not that much important. What is important for our examination about golden langur? It is found only in the state of Assam in India and some parts of Bhutan. So, it is not endemic to India. It is found in India and Bhutan. Yes, but it is endemic to this type of forest, semi-evergreen and mixed deciduous forest found in that region. Okay, IUCN status is endangered and Wildlife Protection Act Schedule 1 highest protection. Remember this for our examination. Also, they are listed among the world's 25 most endangered primates. Okay? Now, what are the threats? Habitat fragmentation, electricity wires. Many times it is in news. Just now I told you that they do not come on the ground. They move from one tree to other tree through the branches, jumping on the branches. Okay, and basically to construct these electricity wires, what they are doing, they are felling the trees there, and there is fragmentation of habitat. And they are because of, let's say, these electricity lines, they may encounter, or we can say due to accident. So there are many such deaths happening there.
Because the electric lines pass through trees also.
Yes. So they are not aware about that it is electricity line. Simply we should understand this.
It will be treated as just like a normal thing.
So this is the threat and habitat fragmentation. Okay, so this much information is sufficient. Now the next article talks about different kinds of bills. Okay, so recently Rajya Sabha Deputy Chair said that there have been number of instances in the past when private members' bill to amend the preamble to the constitution has been introduced in both houses of the parliament, that is that its legislative competence is decided by the council and not the chair. Okay, so we should understand that constitutional amendment bill can be introduced by a minister or private member. And here in this case, one of the private member bill, it talks about the removal or changes of the word in the preamble socialist to equitable. Why they are arguing this? They are saying that socialist is the political philosophy. So instead of that, you add equitable word there. Okay, so having the similar meaning. And they are saying that the bill can be introduced by the private members also. Now, basics about polity. The bills introduced in the parliament are of two kinds: public bills, private bills. Public bill is that bill which is introduced by the minister in the council of minister. Okay, and the private member bill is any kind of bill that is introduced except minister. Okay, so that is introduced by we can say the member of parliament other than the minister. This is the difference. Otherwise, almost everything is same. The bill, if it is accepted, it is passed through the same method. Both types of bills. Okay, so yes, the public bill and private bill. Public bill introduced in the parliament by the minister while other than minister. Now, it reflects the policies of the government because it is introduced by the council of minister, one of the minister from council of minister. Then it reflects the stand of opposition party on the public matter, largely we can say. Then it has greater chance of approved by the parliament. Why? Because the ruling party or the coalition has the majority. So better chance to pass, while it is having lesser chance to be approved. Then its rejection by the house amounts to expression of want of parliamentary confidence in the government and may lead to resignation. There can be no confidence motion after this. Okay.
I'm not getting. If resignation means what, sir?
Not resignation, rejection.
Resignation is the last one, sir.
I am talking about this. Wait. Okay. Its rejection by the house has no implication on the parliamentary confidence of the government. Now, its introduction in the house requires 7 days notice. Okay, it requires 7 days notice, while it requires 1 month notice. Also, it is drafted by the concerned department in consultation with law department, and it is drafted by the individual member. Yes, what you are talking?
Sir, if the resignation means it leads means what, sir?
Resignation by the council of minister, government.
If the bill has been not able to.
Yes, if it is not passed. Government, if it is government is introducing the bill and if it is not passed, so of course there is some kind of lack of confidence. If it is not having majority, so there may be no confidence motion in near future by the opposition. Okay, so the government may have to resign if it is having not appropriate numbers. Okay, to show the majority on the floor of the house. Okay. Yes, so this can be asked in the prelims examination. You should be aware about the constitutional amendment bill. Yes, about the constitutional amendment bill, what are the, we can say, aspects related to constitutional amendment bill? Yes, it can be introduced. Quickly, it will be revision for you in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, either of the house, right? It can be introduced by minister or private member. Then no prior consent of or recommendation by president required, like money bill, it is not required. Then it has to be passed individually or separately on both, in both houses. It has to be passed separately. That means no joint session can be there.
If one only lower house has been passed, we need to go for higher house.
Separately.
That litigation is there is no any problem.
Yes, no joint session provision for passing this. Also needs to be passed in both houses with special majority. Special majority. Okay. So special majority we can say 2/3 majority.
More than 70%.
2/3 majority we can say, or simply we should understand that those who are present and voting, so the majority should be 2/3 majority, special majority we can say, we can talk about that. Okay, so remember like this, not simple majority, special majority is required. Separately they are passed, no prior consent by the president, it can be introduced, so it can be asked in the prelims examination. Okay, they may ask the difference between the ordinary bill, constitutional amendment bill, money bill, constitutional amendment bill. So आपको ये सारी चीजें पता होनी चाहिए, right?
So special majority means if the 100 members is there, so motion should be they need whatever the amount of people attended, they need 75% of people.
Not 75. Not 75. Okay, so simply we should understand that the 2/3 majority is 2/3 कितना होता है 66% ना, so 66% and above it is required.
Even they attended 70% also, they need to 66.
Present and voting.
Present and voting.
Present and voting. Yes, yes, sure. Yes. What should be answer to this?
So 3 only, sir.
B.
3.
Yes, second B is correct answer. We are talking about golden langur, the statements, we have to find the correct statements. It is endemic to India. It is incorrect. It is not endemic to India. It is found in Bhutan also, no? Endemic means exclusively found, right? Yes. Now it is found only in the state of Assam. अगर ऐसे लिखते हैं it is endemic to state of Assam, that is also correct. Okay, so this is correct statement. It is an endangered species. Yes, this is also correct. So that's why 2 and 3 is the correct answer.
It is only in state of Assam means, okay sir, if they given any, if does not given India, it will be wrong answer.
We are specifically talking about state in India.
If it doesn't given India, it will maybe go to wrong answer.
No, if we are talking about, let's say, only found in India,
Okay sir.
ठीक है, so only found in India, then it is incorrect. Within India, it is only found in state of Assam, so that is correct. Okay? Yes, fine. So these are the important articles. Now, here onwards, it would be advisable for you to focus more on prelims examination. Okay, so there will be many repetitive articles related to mains examination. Try to avoid reading those again and again. Also, it is advised that अभी 1-2 महीने elections चलेंगे, so many articles will be related to political aspects. Okay, so quickly look into important news related to prelims, and you can skip all other aspects. Okay, focus on monthly magazine revisions from time to time for prelims examination. Also, do not make notes out of monthly magazine. It is very time consuming, and prelims current affairs is very exhaustive. Okay. Yes, just go on highlighting, marking the important points and again revise them. Okay, so that is only sufficient for you. Okay. Yes, then let's stop. Okay, thank you.